What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, wanted to bring you a Friday practice report. Last practice today before the Colts take on the Los Angeles Rams when the Rams come into town. There's a couple of good things that went our way with this practice report and a couple bad things that didn't go our way. So there was a lot more names added to this list Friday that weren't added days prior. So this makes this whole list, it was a very strange set of events because we would have never expected some of these guys to have the issues they were having before we made our preview video and before we did all this other stuff. So there, context matters in this. But we're going to go ahead and hop into the practice and what's going on. So first things first, quarterback Anthony Richardson will start Sunday versus the Los Angeles Rams. He did have 3 full days of practice. He has cleared concussion protocol. He has been fine, so he is all good. No problems there. Now, the other person who was in concussion protocol was Ryan Kelly. Now, he did not clear concussion protocol, so he was still practicing, but now he is in a situation where he didn't practice Friday, and after getting checked out, showed that he still was having symptoms. So he is not 100% ready to go yet, so he will miss a second straight game against the Rams, and that one definitely is a cause for concern. Now, I know that most likely means Wesley French is going to start in placement of him, and I am not discrediting Wesley French. Wesley French definitely played a very good game last Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens, did a fantastic job of filling in for Ryan Kelly when he went down, and he did a great job, and I have confidence that he can keep it going. Obviously, with the interior of the defensive line that you're about to face with the Rams, that gives you the most cause for concern. That he obviously being in there, having to face up against Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is definitely a much stronger opponent. Now, of course, we saw Quentin Nelson was a full participant at practice Friday, so that is a good sign. Means that most likely he was listed as questionable, but again, we've seen this the last 2 weeks. Quentin Nelson doesn't practice all week, practices a little bit on Friday, and he's been able to play every game so far and has played just fine. So I don't think that I would have any reason to think he wouldn't now. So that's at least a good sign, is that the interior of the offensive line with Wesley French in there is mostly staying intact. So Quentin Nelson, who's had a redemption year, Will Fries, who has had a very solid year so far, and Wesley French, who showed he can at least keep guys out of the backfield for the most part. As long as the interior communication is there, then I would say that I'm a little less concerned about us being able to move the ball against the Rams. Remember, the Rams have never been a good team at stopping the run, so that's not the concern with me. The concern is obviously keeping Anthony Richardson upright, and that is the concern that is going to continue to happen. Now, the other one that is the biggest blow to this entire team, most likely going into this game, is tackle Bernard Ryman, who was just placed in concussion protocol today. He did not practice, and he has been labeled as out. He and Ryan Kelly both have been labeled out, and that's rough because the Indianapolis Colts now being down 2 offensive linemen, and that one being the left tackle. Anthony Richardson definitely is going to have to keep his wits about him, and no doubt that the the Colts are going to have to get some help on the left side of the offensive line. Left tackle Blake Freeland, who you drafted this year, is going to have to get his first start. And we've seen, even then, we've seen Aaron Donald has lined up outside before. Aaron Donald has lined up outside before. I would not be surprised if the Rams try at least a few times to try to get Aaron Donald outside on Blake Freeland. Do not be surprised. Now, Blake Freeland's got good speed. He's got good size. The strength is the question mark. Now, the Rams do not have any great edge rushers. Most of their rushing ability has come from within inside. So that's going to be the key factor going into this. So Anthony Richardson being back, but Ryan Kelly and Bernard Wyman being out, definitely going to be a situation where Anthony Richardson's going to have to keep his wits about it. Now, the other thing, we saw that Braden Smith was a non-participant at practice today. It's sounding like from all forms that people were saying that he is good to go for Sunday. It was more of an observatory day for him. Even though they listed it as a wrist injury, it sounded like it was more of an observatory day. So from what it sounds like Braden Smith will be good to go. Grover Stewart didn't practice, but there's no update for him on being questionable. I again think it was just an observatory day, so I'm not too worried about that. Dallas Flowers, again, a full participant in practice today. He has no issue. The two big ones, as we mentioned before, I mentioned it with Quentin Nelson already. If I'm a gambling man, I'm expecting him to be out there. It's been that way for 2 weeks in a row now. Now, DeForest Buckner did not practice again on Friday. That's a major concern. It's a little less of a concern with Nelson because we saw he was able to practice on Friday. Now, like I said before, DeForest Buckner has done this before where he has not practiced and played. There's multiple times where this has happened. And DeForest Buckner is one of the best in the league at doing what he does. So I'm not too worried about it. Ultimate question is he going to be healthy enough to be able to play in this game? If I had to put my money on it, I would say no. But again, we've seen crazier things happen. So that's the injury report for you guys. Just to give a quick roundabout, DeForest Buckner, questionable. Quentin Nelson, questionable for the game, even though we said we think he's going to be ready. Ryan Kelly, out for the game. Anthony Richardson is back, out of protocol, and will play. Sam Ehlinger, questionable. Tackle Bernard Wyman is out. And, of course, we talked about Dallas Flowers is okay. Braden Smith should be okay, and Grover Stewart should be okay as well. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Leave me your thoughts on this. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.